When upgrading electrical service equipment, such as in a wastewater treatment plant going from a 150 amp automatic transfer switch or ATS to a 400 amp service, several factors must be considered to ensure compliance with the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and to maintain safety and reliability. These considerations include wireway sizing, conductor bending radius, and conduit selection. Let's address the questions regarding wireway sizing and conductor bending radius according to the NEC. First point to cover is wireway sizing. When dealing with conductors of size number 3 American wire gauge or OG and larger entering a pull box, junction box, or wireway, NEC section 314.28 addresses the requirements for the minimum dimensions of the box or wireway. Specifically 314.28. 8.2 covers installations where conductors are pulled into, through, and out of a box or enclosure. In these situations, the minimum dimensions are determined by the raceway size and the number of raceways entering the enclosure. The basic rule dictates that for straight pulls, the length of the box shall not be less than 8 times the trade diameter of the largest raceway. For angle or U-pulls, or where conductors are deflected 90 degrees or more, the distance from where the raceway enters the box to the opposite wall shall not be less than 6 times the trade diameter of the largest raceway, plus the sum of the diameters of all other raceways entering on the same wall. The distance between raceway enters enclosing the same conductor shall not be less than 6 times the trade diameter of the larger raceway. Now let us get into how to apply this to the given scenario. The plan involves running 3 runs of parallel 3/0 AWG conductors in a 3-inch conduit into a new wireway. To correctly size the wireway, particularly if the conductors are making a bend within the wireway, 314.28. A2 necessitates a calculation based on the conduit size. Assuming a 3-inch conduit and an angle or U-pull, the minimum dimension of the wireway in the direction of the pull would need to be at least 6 times the conduit diameter, plus the sum of the diameters of all other raceways entering on the same wall. If there is only one 3-inch conduit entering the wireway on that wall, the calculation simplifies to 6 times 3 inches, which equals 18 inches. Therefore, the minimum dimension of the wireway in that direction would be 18 inches. The thought of upgrading to an 18-inch by 18-inch by 72-inch wireway aligns with the code requirements, providing sufficient space for the conductors and their bending radius. In terms of conductor bending radius, NEC 300.34 addresses the bending radius of conductors. This section states that conductors shall be so bent that the insulation of the conductor is not damaged and the radius of the curve of the inner edge of any bend shall not be less than specified in Table 300.34. Table 300.34 provides minimum bending radii for conductors based on the voltage and conductor size. For conductors rated 600 volts or less, which is applicable in this scenario involving a 480 volt system, the minimum bending radius is typically 5 times the diameter of the conductor for conductors without a lead sheath or 6 times the diameter of the conductor for conductors with a lead sheath. To determine the bending radius, the diameter of the 3/0 AWG conductor, including its insulation, must be known. Consulting conductor specifications from a manufacturer or using Table 5 in Chapter 9 of the NEC, a reasonable estimate for the diameter of a 3/0 AWG conductor with insulation is approximately 0.7 inches. Using this value, the minimum bending radius would be 5 times 0.7 inches, which is 3.5 inches. However, for practical purposes and to ensure that the insulation is not damaged, a larger bending radius is often preferred. The suggestion of an approximate 7-inch bending radius is a conservative approach that provides ample space and reduces the risk of damaging the conductor insulation during installation. Now, to address the reasoning behind the need for such a large wireway, even with a seemingly generous bending radius. The primary reason is to accommodate the physical space required for the conductors to bend without putting undue stress on the insulation. When multiple conductors are pulled through a conduit and into a wireway, they need sufficient space to spread out and make the bend without overlapping or pressing against each other. This is especially important for larger conductors like 3/0 AWG, which are less flexible and require more space to bend smoothly. Additionally, the large wireway size facilitates easier installation and maintenance. It allows electricians to work more comfortably inside the wireway when pulling conductors, making connections, or performing inspections. The extra space also helps with heat dissipation, which is crucial in high current applications to prevent overheating of the conductors and insulation. Moreover, the NEC mandates these large dimensions to ensure long-term reliability and safety. Overcrowding conductors or forcing them into tight bends can lead to insulation breakdown, short circuits, and even fires. By adhering to the NEC guidelines for wireway sizing and bending radii, the risk of these issues is significantly reduced. Practical considerations in this scenario include the existing electrical setup at the wastewater treatment plant. The presence of a 400 amp switch feeding a 150 amp ATS suggests that the original design might have included provisions for future expansion, or that the 400 amp switch was installed for other reasons, such as to serve multiple loads in addition to the ATS. Understanding the complete electrical distribution system and the loads connected to it is essential for ensuring that the upgraded service equipment is appropriately sized and configured. When upgrading the wire to 400 amps using 3 runs of parallel 3/0 AWG, it is crucial to verify that the conductors are properly rated for the application, including their ampacity, insulation type, and suitability for the environment in which they will be installed. Additionally, all connections must be made with appropriate hardware and torqued to the manufacturer's specifications to ensure a reliable and safe electrical connection. The selection of a 3-inch PVC conduit for the new conductors is also important. PVC conduit is a common choice for underground and wet location installations due to its resistance to corrosion and moisture. However, it is essential to ensure that the PVC conduit is installed according to the manufacturer's instructions and that all joints are properly sealed to prevent water from entering the conduit system. Furthermore, the fill capacity of the 3-inch conduit must be checked to ensure that it complies with NEC Chapter 9, Table 1, which specifies the maximum allowable fill for conduits based on the number and size of conductors. In summary, upgrading electrical service equipment requires careful planning and attention to detail to ensure compliance with the NEC and to maintain safety and reliability. Correctly sizing wireways and calculating conductor bending radii are critical aspects of this process, and adhering to the NEC guidelines is essential for preventing electrical hazards and ensuring the long-term performance of the electrical system. Firstly, verify all existing conditions and loads to confirm the suitability of the new 400 amp service. Secondly, calculate the minimum wireway dimensions according to NEC 314.28. A2. Considering the size and number of raceways entering the wireway. Thirdly, determine the appropriate conductor bending radius based on NEC 300.34 and conductor specifications. Fourthly, select and install the correct size and type of conduit for the new conductors, ensuring compliance with NEC fill requirements. Fifthly, use appropriate hardware and torque specifications for all electrical connections to ensure a reliable and safe installation. Remember, when working with electrical systems, safety should always be the top priority. If you are not experienced in electrical work, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that the installation is performed safely and correctly. Ignoring safety precautions can lead to serious injury or death. The NEC serves as a comprehensive guide for safe electrical installations, and it is essential to follow its guidelines to protect people and property from electrical hazards. The upgrade from a 150 amp ATS to 400 amp service involves increased current carrying capacity, necessitating proper wire sizing and conduit selection to handle the additional load. It also requires careful consideration of the existing electrical infrastructure and coordination with the local utility to ensure a seamless transition. Moreover, the selection of appropriate overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, is crucial for protecting the electrical system from overloads and short circuits. These devices must be properly sized and coordinated to ensure that they trip before any damage occurs to the conductors or equipment. Regular inspection and maintenance of the electrical system are also essential for ensuring its continued safe and reliable operation. This includes checking connections for tightness, inspecting conductors for damage, and testing overcurrent protection devices to verify their functionality. By following these guidelines and paying close attention to detail, you can successfully upgrade electrical service equipment and maintain a safe and reliable electrical system. The upgrade from a 150 amp ATS to a 400 amp service will necessitate a comprehensive evaluation of the existing electrical distribution system. This assessment should include a load calculation to determine the actual demand of the connected equipment and to ensure that the new 400 amp service is adequately sized to handle the load. The load calculation should take into account all continuous and non-continuous loads, as well as any future expansion plans. Additionally, the voltage drop in the system should be evaluated to ensure that it remains within acceptable limits. Excessive voltage drop can lead to reduced performance of equipment and premature failure. To mitigate voltage drop, larger conductors or additional parallel runs may be necessary. The coordination of overcurrent protection devices is also critical for ensuring the selective tripping of circuit breakers or fuses in the event of a fault. Selective coordination prevents unnecessary outages and minimizes the impact of electrical faults on the overall system. This involves selecting overcurrent protection devices with appropriate time current characteristics and ensuring that they are properly coordinated with each other. In addition to the technical aspects of the upgrade, it is also important to consider the regulatory requirements and permitting processes. Local electrical codes and regulations may require permits and inspections for electrical work, and it is essential to comply with these requirements to avoid fines or delays. Furthermore, coordination with a local utility may be necessary to schedule the service upgrade and to ensure that the new service is properly connected to the utility grid. The selection of appropriate grounding and bonding methods is also crucial for ensuring electrical safety. Grounding and bonding provide a low impedance path for fault currents to return to the source, which helps to protect people and equipment from electrical shock. The grounding system should be designed in accordance with the NEC Article 250, which specifies the requirements for grounding and bonding electrical systems. Proper grounding and bonding also help to reduce electromagnetic interference and improve the overall performance of the electrical system. In summary, upgrading electrical service equipment is a complex undertaking that requires careful planning, attention to detail, and compliance with applicable codes and regulations. By following these guidelines and working with qualified professionals, you can ensure a safe, reliable, and code-compliant electrical system.